Watch this, two small adjustments to your short serve. Drop your center of gravity and squeeze at the right moment. And opponents can only push, setting you up to attack. Today I'm going to break down the short serve, and really, there are only two things that matter, keeping the ball low and keeping it short. Everything else is secondary. When your serve stays low, it forces your opponent to read it as backspin. They see a low ball, they assume it's heavy underspin, and almost every time they'll push it back. That push is your golden opportunity, that's the ball you want. You attack it, rip a cross-court loop, and you win the point. Next, so how do we actually get the ball low? First, your contact point needs to be low. But more importantly, your center of gravity needs to be low. Watch any top player when they serve short, they're not standing upright like this. They drop their upper body down, pressing their weight forward and low. That's the position I'm talking about. Now here's where most of you go wrong. Your center of gravity is too high. That's why you can't produce a low short serve. Watch, if I set up to serve without lowering my body, my hand ends up way up here. The ball launches high. But when I press my center of gravity down, watch what happens, my hand naturally drops with it, and the ball comes off low. For a short serve, this is essential. You get the ball low by pressing your center of gravity down. Once your upper body drops, your hand can't stay high, it follows your body downward. Now the second key is your target. In table tennis, whenever your ball's arc stays low, whether it's a push, a serve, anything, you give yourself a chance to stay in the rally, to defend, to attack. So when you practice serving, look at the net. Every net has a strip along the top edge, a white band, usually a different color from the mesh itself. That white strip is your aiming point. Every serve, aim right at that band. Ideally, you want the ball to just clip the tape and tumble over. When you serve, train your hand to feel that height. Aim at the net tape, let it be your reference for the arc. Lock onto that white band, then make fine adjustments with your stroke. A touch higher, a touch lower. You might think your serve looks good from your side of the table, but from your opponent's perspective, it's already sitting up too high. The closer the ball passes over the net, the harder it is to return. Then, now watch the backswing. Start by turning the racket face toward the ball, then add just a small rotation of the body and a slight arm movement. Don't lead with your body, lead with the racket face. The key image here is chopping down toward your stomach. Think of a short, compact chop directed right at your midsection. That's really all there is to it. With a short serve, your precision has to be extremely high. If your hand drifts too far from your body, you lose control. So the method is simple: open the wrist, chop toward the belly. Now I might demonstrate with a bigger motion so you can see it clearly, but the actual technique never leaves this compact zone. The range is only this big. The key is mastering the method. The touch is very light. The stroke is small and extremely delicate. Don't make it too big. In a match, you might open up the motion for deception. You spread your arm wide to disguise the serve, but the real contact point is still this tiny action right here. Everything before contact is show. The backswing, the wind-up, all relaxed, no force. Then right at the ball, one sharp burst of effort. That's all there is to it. After that, here, hold my hand, feel this. During the backswing and the downward motion, there is no tension at all. Can you feel that? Nothing. Then right at the moment of contact, right here, that's when I apply force. Feel the difference. Before contact, the entire arm is loose. The hand is just finding the ball, staying relaxed. Then at contact, you snap one concentrated burst. Think of it in stages: backswing relaxed, swing down relaxed, still relaxed, contact, power. That's the separation you need. If you're tense throughout the whole motion, you'll never control a short serve. Relax everything, then focus all your energy into that single moment of contact. Moving on, now we add speed but not force. There's a crucial difference. I want you to accelerate the racket through the ball without muscling it. Accelerate, again accelerate. Good, watch on screen. When force creeps back in, the ball flies long. You lose all control. But when you keep the arm loose and simply speed up the wrist through contact, the ball stays short with more spin. That's the feel you're looking for, a soft, kneading quality in the fingers at contact. You can feel the rubber grab the ball. Accelerate the racket, yes, but channel that speed into spin, not into pushing the ball forward. Speed for short serves, not speed for long ones. Now add a little body. Sink your weight, bend the knees, and let the body feed into the motion. Watch on screen, the hand stays soft, kneading the ball at contact. There's no punch, no jolt. The fingers stay pliable, the wrist stays loose, and the body simply lowers to keep everything compact. That kneading quality is what makes the ball bite the table and stay short. Next, here's the core problem. The moment you try to force spin, you lose control of the first bounce. You can't manage where the ball lands on your side of the table, so if you're struggling with short serves, start here, just touch the ball. Soft contact, nothing else. Get your hand used to being relaxed and pliable. Once that softness is natural, start speeding up the motion. Watch, I go faster but I don't add force. This is force. This is no force. Feel the difference? I'm just quicker. The hand stays soft, the motion stays smooth. On that foundation, at the very last instant, you squeeze the handle. The squeeze at the end is what generates spin, but only if the hand was soft before it. Here's the contradiction most players face. You don't want to just tap the ball with no spin, but the moment you add force, the first bounce goes wild and the serve flies long. The solution is this. At contact, your hand should feel soft, kneading. From that soft base, you rapidly accelerate the racket face, you drive the surface speed up without pushing forward. Watch, I soften my hand first. Then I speed up. A little more, concentrate the snap, and the short serve comes out with real spin. Now let's drill this. Feel the soft hand first, good. Again. Now at the very end of the stroke, squeeze the handle. One quick grip at the last instant. Good, but don't squeeze too early. That's the mistake I felt when I held my student's hand during the drill. The squeeze came too early. When you grip down before the ball arrives, you're locking up the wrist and the racket face can't accelerate freely. The timing has to be soft through the entire swing, then squeeze right at the moment the rubber meets the ball. Exactly the moment I muscle the serve, of course I lose control. Force ruins everything, so instead start soft. Let the racket meet the ball with a pliable hand. Then accelerate the racket face, build rotational speed, not forward push. The ball is already spinning. And right at the end, squeeze the grip to lock in that spin.